Yeah. Craig, stop leaving, dude.
We're good.
Craig had to go watch Stranger Things real fast.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did. Where was I? I said 79 to 70 is good.
Yeah.
69 to 60% is decent. 59 to 50% is watchable. 49 to 40 is bad. 39 to 30 is awful. And 29 to 0 is avoid like plague.
Good to know.
And like, yeah, so movies like Into the Spider-Verse and Dark Knight are both like extremely, extremely good, right? Like objectively, like no one thinks that either of those movies are awful, right? I have them both ranked at 86%, which is phenomenal. So like that kind of shows you kind of how tough it is for movies or shows to get into the 90s.
Yeah, I love having a real like harsh grading scale. I actually frequently grade things on a -3 to 17 scale. And I know that sounds like a joke, but I'm completely serious about that.
Jeez.
So it's a 20, it's a 20 scale, but -3. So like negatives are absolutely atrocious.
Yeah, it's basically like 1 through 10 is what you would normally call a 1 through 10. So I think there's a lot of people who kind of throw around a 10 out of 10 score, like without giving it too much earned effort. And that's, for me, that's kind of like the 10 out of 17. And that's like,
yeah,
I'd say when you're hitting 12 out of 17, that's like the best thing you've seen in your life. Like I keep this scale like so harsh. It's like, I don't know if anyone's seen anything above a 14 in their existence, you know?
Yeah. I agree that that's why I don't do like just a scale of 1 to 10 overall for the show or like shows or movies, and why I grade 7 factors on a scale of 1 to 10 and then divide the total by 70. Because like that gives you an actual percentage out of 100. So it's actually breaking down how I feel about like each episode or about a movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's almost like a way to police yourself into giving a more true score than just like following your gut.
Yeah, because there's phenomenal movies, but they could definitely, fail in a category. Like fail at characters, fail at story.
Exactly.
Like there's fail at soundtrack, like there's definitely categories that the movie can suck in, but if everything else is good, it's like hard to give it an accurate score.
Exactly. Like here, I think like Dark Knight, for example, was hold on just a second, I'll find it. Here's some examples here. Infinity War. Really it's a good movie, but I have it as it was lacking in like things like cinematography. Because like cinematography in a lot of Marvel movies, in my opinion, are like the shots are always super similar or kind of bland.
Yeah.
So
it's just like random face shots flipping. Pretty much.
Exactly.
I never see like beautiful shots where everything that you can see in the scene is like all the same color or getting into like that deeper symbolism. I think Marvel doesn't touch on that as much as I wish they would.
Yeah, exactly. And then like No Way Home, the plot is like a 6 out of 10. And it's really the third act and like the characters that kind of, make it good and make it memorable. Yeah, exactly.
But I guess jumping back then.
Yeah, jumping back into it.
Where it's like, I think we're all agreeing that season 2 was probably the worst. I feel like we all agree on that. So it was like, I guess to segue.
Behind you.
Oh my.
Tyler has
just a Twitch stream open and it was showing the fucking like spider head baby doll from
Toy Story. Yeah.
Oh gosh, that scared me. But
jump scare.
But yeah, so like, season 1 was really good. Like I very much enjoyed it. And so it was sad that season 2, it went from, I know Tanner would say that season 3 is the best, but still a really good season to the worst season, I think.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like the show was, the show was on like a bad trajectory. And season 3, for me at least, it was like a little bit better, but it still seemed like we weren't going to hit that peak of season 1.
Yeah.
And so now segueing into season 4, I thought season 4 was really good, and I'm not going to spoil right now, but we'll get spoilers later. We'll do episode 1, but I thought just this segue from season 3 to season 4, even in the first episode, felt like this is the closest we've been to. It's definitely very different in terms of how I feel about the show than season 1, but it's still the best I've seen of the show since season 1, if that makes sense. Where it feels like we're starting to get back on track, that it wasn't just like a one season wonder with some good episodes scattered here and there. And it seems like they're starting to get back, and this, huge 3-year break seems like really helped to put more time and effort into this season, which I thought was pretty good. So yeah, I mean, jumping into episode 1, Tanner, do you want to give us some thoughts or give us your rundown?
Yeah, let's see. I took a lot of notes during the episode, trying to think through all the scenes that happened. I guess to give a brief overall summary here, I feel like starting this season off, a lot of the characters felt a bit more fleshed out and interesting than they maybe were in previous seasons. I think each character kind of has a different role or niche they're sort of fitting into. I really like the Lucas plot. He's kind of breaking away from the rest of the group. Like that's what's kind of good about a 3-year hiatus is we finally get to see characters trying to grow apart. Get some of those more like relatable high school pains and stuff like that. It doesn't always have to be about monsters to be a good story or something.
Yeah, a little coming of age element as they're entering high school.
And from the first episode, I feel like they're doing those coming of age elements great. Robin's been a good character. I definitely want to see more of her. Let's see. What else was I thinking? What are your guys' thoughts on the whole Nancy and Jonathan relationship?
I mean, my current experience with the relationship right now makes it relatable. But other than that,
it feels weird, I guess, to me at least. Because I mean,
their relationship has always felt weird to me.
But it was like I kind of understood, the switch from Steve to Jonathan type of thing, and it was okay, but it's like they've basically already done this, right, with Nancy being in a weird relationship thing. So it feels weird that they're just it just feels like they're just redoing.
She's just indecisive, man.
Yeah, it just feels kind of forced and out of nowhere, I guess, to me.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it was weird. Another thing that me and Tyler had discussed about episode 1 that felt weird was the Robin talking to her crush, her band crush,
Vic, I think.
Yeah, Vic or something, and it was literally never touched upon again.
Yeah.
Ooh, I was hoping a lot more was going to happen there. No, that's a slight shame to hear.
She just started talking too much, and then that was it. It was never touched on again.
Yeah.
Damn.
It was it was sad. That's pretty much the only thread from episode 1 that I don't think was ever touched on again.
Sorry for the
kind of weird.
Sorry for the mild spoiler, Tanner, but
no, I don't mind some mild spoilers. No, that's a shame to hear. I think poor Robin. I think her character deserves a little more.
She does get a lot of
you see
a lot
her.
of screen time.
You see her a lot,
definitely is still same level of character as season 3, but it's just they completely kind of just throw away that love thread line or whatever,
a potential character development.
I mean, maybe they bring it in part 2, but it's just weird because it was they put it in the first episode, so you'd think they would at least
be a little consistent,
or run into her, in some of the other episodes in the season. But it was just kind of weird.
I think they're kind of touching on the ideas that, being a lesbian at that time was very difficult. And I think she may not get that love for a while, but I think they might want to talk about that a bit more. That seems like an important aspect of her character,
Yeah. No, I agree. It's definitely something that would be a slower buildup of a relationship. So it's just kind of weird that they touched on it and seemed like that's the direction they were heading.
Yeah.
So it was going to be like, she's trying to like see if she's actually a lesbian too, and see if anything develops there. But then, yeah, it just like doesn't. So I mean, hopefully, maybe part 2 we'll see some more of that too.
Yeah, hopefully. I do like Robin as a character. She's a little annoying, but that's part of her charm.
But, yeah, that's definitely like part of her character.
Yeah,
too,
it's not like a oh my god, shut up type of annoying, but she literally acknowledges the fact that she talks too much. But yeah, because she does talk too much sometimes when she starts talking in the show. I'm like, oh, be quiet for a second. But
I guess. Okay, one more thing, or one thing I want to touch on of episode 1, and we'll get to the Angela scene next.
Yeah.
Gosh, but Will, man, like Will is still just such a bad character. Like, I think he's the worst character in the show.
After realizing something, we'll have to talk about it once Tanner gets off because it's spoiler territory.
For sure.
But I had realized something, or I had been shown something that makes his character just that much better to me.
Oh, really?
Like he's still a pretty weak character just because he doesn't really do much. But I mean, it's like the point of his character is that he's not doing much.
But I was just, I guess, disappointed in this episode because he's just like, he basically just sat and did nothing.
Yeah, I agree.
She's getting bullied and stuff, and he's basically just like
was just kind of like a one-dimensional character that like silently comforted her after each bullying
all
incident.
He does is he's like pouting in the background pretty much, and it's like, and it's okay. Like,
I think you could put that on. It's definitely a fault of the writers for not acknowledging it or anything, and it's something they'll hold against the episode, in my opinion. But like, you could come to the conclusion that he doesn't want to get bullied again.
True.
Yeah. I think his experiences with the Upside Down might be kind of pushing him into more of like a submissive, just put your head down. If you're bullied, like don't fight it kind of role. But you need to show that turmoil a bit more. Make it clear that he's struggling. He wants to fight back, but he just can't.
Yeah, exactly. Because he'd been called like zombie boy and like stuff like that.
Yeah,
so he'd been bullied a lot for years. But so like.
But it would have been nice if they acknowledged that.
Yeah, exactly. If they just acknowledge the fact that he wants to keep his head down because he knows if he defends someone who's going to be bullied, they're going to bully him too. Like, you can acknowledge that. But yeah, so it's like, it's understandable. It's in his character, but still, you have to acknowledge it. You have to acknowledge that he's doing it.
Sure. And then I guess with that, we can just segue that right into the Angela
scene. The Angela scene. Oh, man.
Gosh.
No, dude.
Oh, my face scrunched so hard from the cringiness, bro.
Angela.
So yeah, we're talking about the scene where 11, Angela's whatever trips or whatever, and 11 decides she's done. She's gonna use her powers and beat up Angela, and just holds out her hand and screams her name. Nothing happens.
No, dude, those memes of like the emoji with like its hands out and it's like in its face is like in disgust and it's like and it disappears.
Yeah,
that's how I felt, dude.
Yeah,
I was like,
it was like, so cringe. Definitely what they were going for. Like, man, they made us cringe real well.
Yeah, but then I guess what I want to ask too is like, what was she expecting if she actually just like murdered Angela or like threw her there?
I was like, thank God her powers didn't work. She almost just lashed out too much. And I think that kind of references back to the very first scene of the season. They show like 11 kind of going on like a murderous rampage in the facility, like when she was a kid.
Yeah.
That is true.
That is true, yeah.
I don't know. I think it's always really difficult to redeem a character who commits murder, so I'm not sure what they have planned for 11 at this time.
Yeah. Another thing though. Yeah, you're good. Another thing that felt weird to me though is like the way that they bully is so weird. Like Stranger Things bullies. Like Angela just going like, your dad is dead? What a loser. Or
Right?
like she called 11 a snitch, even though 11 literally said, I just tripped to the teacher. And then the teacher just saw through the lie.
Yeah, there were some weird bullying scenes there for sure.
Yeah, like literally, how do you go and like, you know, sorry, I kind of just lost my train of thought for a second. How do you sit there and go like, you know, oh my gosh, I'm gonna pick on you, and then the teacher's gonna come up and you're gonna cover for me saying you just tripped, and then I'm going to literally beg her to be like, no, tell her that the thing you blatantly just saw is a lie, even though you already tried to cover it up. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. It was so weird. Like, her character, like Angela's character, it feels like it's just meant to be like the really one-dimensional bully, but it's a girl bully.
Yeah. She's like literally just that stereotypical popular bully,
girl.
But like,
yeah,
but there's no other dimension to her character, because usually with those like characters, you know, it's like, oh, they come from an abusive family or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Or they have like self-esteem issues where it's like, no, that's all she is.
And like, what makes it even worse is that like, we know about, you know, how 11 was raised and stuff, right? But no one else does. So to everyone else, she just seems like she has like, you know, like some mental issues. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That like
she's off.
Exactly. Or like her brain's underdeveloped from like trauma or like, you know, things like that. Like she hasn't like aged properly or like learned properly or anything. So like that makes it even worse that she goes, I'm gonna sit and bully you.
Yeah, because it's
for
like,
having mental issues. And a dead dad.
You always hear high school kids are ruthless, but man, I've never experienced or seen anyone else experience something like quite on that level, I feel like.
That is just beyond ruthless.
Never experienced the let me let me literally go after you having a dead dad. Like, I don't even know you.
And don't worry, Tanner, there is a little bit more development there too to look forward to.
There is. You'll enjoy it. You will enjoy it.
There are some good stuff coming up with the bullying.
Episode 2?
I think it's episode 2.
Yeah, it'll be very satisfying.
Well, that scene in the first episode was so cringe. Like, there's definitely gonna be more bullying, you know.
I guess. Another thing. Touch on episode 1, and I really want to hear Tanner's thoughts on this, as you know, Harley and I kind of know where these things go. But the new villain, Vecna, we get to actually see him towards the end, little slimy, swamp-looking monster dude, and the absolutely gruesome murders that he does, which he did with Rissy, I believe her name is.
Yeah. The cheerleader.
Yes.
Vecna,
was crazy. Yeah,
from that first episode, I'm really hyped for this villain because, Chrissy, she's shown him throwing up her food. She's definitely trying to struggle with beauty standards that are being forced on by her mother, and I just feel like, Vecna shows up and he's like, I'm going to. I forget exactly what he said, but something along the lines of like, I'm going to end your suffering. And then he kills her. It almost feels like kind of like a Thanos character. Like there's a weird, like, sick justice to Vecna. Like in Vecna's own mind, he feels justified. Like he was somehow doing Chrissy a favor.
Yeah.
That he's like saving her from her trauma type of thing.
Some of the things hit me and Tyler particularly in a different type of way, because Tyler's afraid of spiders and I'm chronophobic. So I heard the ticking grandfather clock and it gives me so much anxiety because I hate the sound of ticking clocks. It seriously like drives my anxiety wild.
And I am deathly terrified of spiders. So anytime those scenes happen, I just close my eyes for like 10 seconds.
Oh, yeah. Those spiders were really scary too. Great CGI.
Yeah. But another thing, speaking of the CGI that I need to mention, like the CGI of that very gruesome death, bad. It was very bad.
For like those type of deaths, it's definitely, it's just gross.
Yeah,
like,
it's
the CGI is like not amazing, but it's like, it's just because the deaths are so gross.
That's true.
They're
like, there's no
so
way you could
gross.
really do it well, especially when they have to allocate so much other CGI and like practical effects.
Yeah.
Like Vecna looks really good. Like I'm pretty sure it's all makeup.
Yeah,
it's all
his
practical.
costume, it looks
Yeah.
really good.
It looks fantastic. So that's why like every episode for the costuming part, it's at I think an 8, just because like the CGI isn't great, but like Vecna looks really good.
He does look really good.
And so, like, you know, spoiler for my list, but like every episode, the costuming is at like an 8 or a 9. But yeah, like those deaths, like didn't look great. But like once I heard the squish noise of the eyeballs, I like cringed at that too. But like a different type of cringe than the Angela.
Yeah.
This was just like grotesque.
Yeah, exactly. It was like, you know, I'm somebody who I can handle pretty, you know, gory things or pretty disturbing, you know, movies. I enjoy those. But yeah, that specific deaths definitely like made me, you know, wince a little bit. They were just ugh.
Wince is a better word than cringe for that scenario.
Yeah, where it's like,
Yeah, like it was painful watching. It really brings into question, you know, that Vecna justice, because it seems like he wanted to somehow like free her from pain, but then he chose like a really brutal way to kill her,
like the most gruesome possible.
Yeah.
Which like if he had just like quickly slit her throat or something, it would make him seem like he could maybe be a bit more of like a weird like evil justice, but there's something just like pure evil about that.
Do you think so? He's like obviously like in her head, right? When she dies, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So do you think to her, like when her eyes and stuff get crushed, do you think what she sees is just his hand just like squeezing and crushing her head? Or like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like
what does she see?
No, because
like he grabbed her by the head,
yeah, but
right?
we see all the bodies and they're all like still intact.
I'd assume as soon as her
when they're all like
mental eyes went away, she probably would just see black, you know?
Yeah.
It was just, it's weird. And then like the arms and stuff breaking.
Yeah, it's gross. It is gross.
Yeah. But getting into that, another person in that scene, Eddie as a new character.
Yeah.
At first, I did not like him because I was like, oh, stereotypical held back type of dude.
Yeah.
Like, oh, he's a dealer, but then he ended up like actually being nice, and it's like that kind of just seems like an act. Like, you know, because he doesn't want to conform just to society's norms, he has to conform to what people think isn't, you know, allowed by society. You know what I mean? So he's still conforming to something.
Yeah.
But then he ends up being super nice to Chrissy because, you know, he's just actually a nice guy. And then poor guy has to see her just die.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm sure you guys already know the answer to this, but that scene definitely leaves me thinking, what's going to happen to Eddie? Like, I don't see how he doesn't get charged with like murder after that.
That's
chick literally.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be something that is like very heavily prevalent in the rest of the season.
It is very, very prevalent.
Yeah.
Yeah,
don't worry about that. But yeah, it definitely was interesting to see because that thought ran in my head too. I'm like, dude, you're alone in this cabin with this girl. Like, yeah, you're done. So
yeah, like
literally everybody and their mom is gonna be like, yeah, you killed her.
Yeah, you did it, dude. You're a bozo. No, oh my gosh, some of the other people in that Dungeons and Dragons group though, like just the way they look
the
just
other,
makes me
like,
crack up.
Yeah, the upperclassmen.
Yeah,
ones,
it's so funny. It
Yeah, I
like
thought the D&D group was a pretty funny scene, you know?
I
yeah.
like
That's
the game-winning shot parallel to the like game-winning kill on Vecna too.
Yeah.
From his
Yeah.
sister, from Lucas's sister.
I don't like the basketball players. I like Lucas. I
Yeah,
don't
yes.
like the rest of them.
Mhm.
I just sorry that popped in my head.
Yeah.
I feel like we haven't
yeah,
seen
the new,
enough
like,
of the
jock
basketball
guy.
players to really judge
Yeah.
them. Well,
Yeah.
at least in the first episode.
Well, especially like this new basketball captain.
Yeah, the new
If you-
jock guy.
if you- yeah,
definitely
if you-
doesn't feel that good.
Recall properly, Steve was the old like captain.
Yeah.
Like he was the basketball player. So it's like this guy compared to Steve, like yeah.
And then, even like Billy, that was a big thing.
Yeah.
Billy pulled up and shits on Steve in
Yeah,
basketball.
literally just the best player. He crushes
Yeah.
the rest of them.
And
Yeah.
then, now it jumps to like just another new star basketball player. And yeah, he definitely feels like the weakest.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really like his character too much.
Yeah.
It feels like the show keeps creating a void for like the coolest guy in school, and it keeps desperately trying to refill it. And then they're like, "Oh, what if we did something with the coolest guy in school? You know, either make him turn a bit nerdy or make him die. You know."
Yeah.
And they have to refill.
How about we make Lucas the new coolest guy in school?
Yeah, that would have been, I think, pretty cool too.
Mm-hmm. Like
That might be
what
very
if he got
fitting,
the? Yeah, they could have done. He got the game-winning shot, and now everyone likes him more than the captain.
Yeah, cause some like resentment there.
Yeah, exactly. And then like
for sure,
like it kind of causes like a weird dynamic between typical nerdy people and basketball players because Lucas is both of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like that could have been cool.
Yeah,
but
yeah, I guess just wrapping up for this part of
for this episode
for episode 1. Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Just on a normal out of 10 scale, I'd probably give it like a 6 or a 7. Like there's definitely some moments I didn't like. Just obviously like I didn't really like much of the California arc with Will,
Ditto.
11 and stuff, and I didn't even like what is Finn's character? Mike.
Mike.
Like Mike. I consider him part of the California art group
because he really is.
Yeah, and so I don't really like much of that, but yeah, I thought like I liked Lucas a lot. The villain is really cool looking and really scary. I think probably almost the scariest. Maybe the Demogorgon at first was scarier just because we didn't know what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
But I really liked Vecna. Vecna's definitely like the most disturbing, I think, by far, and I liked him a lot. But I thought episode 1 was very solid and felt like it's setting up the season to possibly be the best one yet. When everything's out.
Definitely.
Tanner, your closing thoughts?
Yeah, my closing thoughts here. From a more like director sort of standpoint, I think there was some really good parallel scenes. We brought up the one with the basketball in the D&D game, but there was also the scene talking about Nancy and Jonathan's relationship when they kept cutting back and forth. So I thought there was some clever stuff they were doing there. A lot of the characters seem like they've been, kind of reintroduced well. It's been a 3-year break and they're a bit older.
Yeah,
for sure.
For sure. There's one other little thing we didn't really talk about. I'll just quickly bring up here, and that's that Hopper is alive note that Joyce found.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Like that and Vecna is kind of the two like big things going on from what I can tell. So it's keeping me intrigued. I want to watch more. This season's mystery is kind of already unfolding, if you can call it a mystery at this point, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff. I'm looking forward to watching the rest of the season. It's real interesting.
Real quick, I couldn't hear. What did you say you would rank it?
Oh, great. Yeah, I did not say that yet. I'll give it like a 7.5 out of 17.
7.5 out of 17. Let's go.
Let's go.
Pretty decent.
All right.
Yeah, Harley, episode 1 closing thoughts.
I think it was probably the best opening episode out of any of the seasons. Season 1 was good, but it really had to try hard to set up characters and stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
And like, why did Will go missing?
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, they had a lot to like introduce.
Exactly. So I think this is the best opening episode.
I can see that.
Yeah, I think the characters were about as good as always. It had a really good plot with between Vecna and Hopper being alive, and the comparisons between the nerdy people and the jocks. I think the soundtrack and the cinematography were both good. I would rank it a 79% out of 100. So it was good. It was almost on the scale of phenomenal. Yeah. It was a really solid episode. It was good. There was stuff that could have been done better or expanded on, but with shows, each episode is that kind of on a time constraint because they have the luxury of having multiple episodes. But yeah, overall it was good. It was really good.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, thank you, Tanner, for coming on. Hopefully we'll see you in some future episodes, and then thank you for pulling up.
Totally, guys.
Yeah, appreciate it, man.
I'd love to find another time to come on the show. This has been
fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you guys have a great day. I hope you have a good talk about the rest of the part 1 of season 4.
Yes.
Yeah. Hopefully we get to see you soon.
Cool. Yeah, for sure.
Bye.
All right. Bye. I love you. All right.
So now we can get into.
Before I even start breaking down, sorry, but like what you had said about Will.
Oh,
kind of been eating at me, right?
Okay, yeah.
So the point of his character, right?
Yes.
Is that people only care about him when something is wrong. Like if you really think about it, like he went missing, people cared about him. He was corrupted or they saw him as a spy, they cared about him. As soon as he wasn't a problem, like even in season 3, nobody cared. Literally nobody.
Yeah.
And then you can really see that in season 2 when he was losing his memory.
Mm-hmm.
Joyce asked him about March 22nd, and he couldn't remember the significance of the day. And she said, "It's your birthday." And at the roller rink, when they're recording them, mocking Elle for her hand thing that made us cringe, the date was March 22nd. It was his birthday, and no one even acknowledged it.
Oh, sheesh.
So it is understandable why he was mopey, because his best friend just flew in from town and had nothing to do with him on his birthday. And then mocked him and said that you ruined me and Eleven's day.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was supposed to be our day or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's what makes me like his character more. Like understanding that he's forgotten about. His mom even prioritized going to Alaska over spending time with him.
Yeah. No, that makes more sense. But then it's if they acknowledge that, that's just an issue with.
Yeah, that's true.
That's just an issue with the show, I guess.
Yeah, it is an acknowledgement issue.
Leave, but just so I can listen. But that definitely would make his character better if they just touched on that, right? You shouldn't have to find this out from a TikTok or whatever.
Yeah, that it was March 22nd.
Yeah, exactly. That definitely would have added way more depth to his character, or at least
it is fair to insinuate though that he might also be gay for Mike.
No, he is.
Yeah, that one's fair. So I think everyone thinks he's upset because he has a crush on Mike, but it's also fair once you figure that out. Mm-hmm. I mean, if all your friends forgot about and your parents forgot about your birthday, wouldn't you be I
would be a little perturbed.
Yeah, exactly.
Be a little perturbed. But I guess just on characters in general is I basically thought that the whole California group was trash, but the whole Hawkins group I thought was phenomenal.
I agree.
So like I thought, Will, Mike used to, like, I thought he was a good actor in like season 1.
Season 3 and 4.
Yeah.
No.
Season 4, I'm watching, I think it's Finn Wolfhard's his name.
Finn Wolfhard, yeah.
He is such a bad actor. And like the dialogue is so cheesy between like him, Eleven, and Will. Like,
Yeah.
it just feels so like just so bad. Like not natural at all.
I know.
His acting. So like I do not like the California group. But then the Hawkins group, Dustin, still my favorite character. I love him.
He's your favorite?
Yeah, I think him or Steve.
I like
Steve, them both,
dude,
a lot. They're both, both of them phenomenal. I like Lucas's arc through this season. Like he had a taste of, the cool popular life, and then still, I really like that because it seemed like they were gonna make it so that he just kind of stayed in that role, stayed in that, like I'm done with you guys. I'm with the cool group now. So I'm really glad that I think it was episode 4 when he like betrayed the college, or not the college,
the basketball players to go warn.
To go help, Eddie and them.
Yeah.
And so I really like that. I thought Lucas' character is great. And Max, Sadie Sink, she's a phenomenal actress. Like, yeah, I felt like she really, this season, I feel like she's like kind of the star in terms of performances. Like, she really surprised me.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially, I think it's episode 4, Dear Billy.
Oh, dude, I love that episode.
Notes, and then
that was my favorite episode.
And then when she's running up the hill, and the song's playing, and to get to the port, like, guys, that episode, like, really, she did a phenomenal performance. It was really good.
Speaking of that scene though, the green screen of when she was running, it was like it's so bad when you see these great performances and like this great like costuming from Vecna, and they're put in the same like this amazing dramatic scene, and I was taken away from it from how bad the green screen looked. Like, which sucks because looking at it for what it is, it was a great moment, like dramatic character. She's literally growing as a character in that moment because she's realizing that she needs to open up to people and that she's not alone. Prior to that, though, prior to like Dear Billy, I kind of despised her as a character because you can tell Lucas was not upset that she broke up with him. He just could tell that she needed help, and she was just kind of shitting on him. Yeah. So like, I get it. She closed herself off. She's upset that her brother died, so it's like, understandable for the character. You can't really go like, it's really dumb that she'd do that or anything like that, but it's still like a, why are you hating on my man? Like, he's just trying to help.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you're definitely misplacing your anger.
Yeah.
Or your, contempt or whatever.
I loved the scene between her and Dustin when Dustin was trying to recruit her to a campaign, and she was like, if I do I get one of those shirts? Yeah. She that actress, what was her name again? Sadie Sink. Yeah. She does sarcasm really well.
Yeah, the sarcasm, it was actually pretty funny.
Yeah, the scene between her and Billy too, like that was in her head. That was a really good one too. Overall, episode 4 was really good to me.
Yeah, I think that's probably my favorite, or one of the best.
I think episode 4 and episode 7, which is the last episode.
Yeah, 7, I was also going to say it's between those two of which one's my favorite.
Yeah, exactly.
There's just some stuff in 7 that I just don't like too much.
How'd you feel about Freddy Krueger playing Victor Creel?
Oh, was that actually...
That was the actor that played Freddy Krueger.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool, though.
And they referenced Freddy Krueger in one of the other episodes.
Say, cause, like, thematically, Vecna is similar-ish to, like, that type of villain.
Yeah, especially because he has the hand and, like, he appears...
hand in, like, the dream type thing. He's in your mind. I guess, okay, one thing I want to talk about just while we're on the subject, kind of.
Yeah.
I'm just jumping straight to like the end of the show here. Is that one is Vecna, right?
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Or I guess, and like another thing, and that's also Victor Creel's son is also one.
Mm-hmm. I saw Vecna being one coming.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like they were definitely like the way that his powers worked and that he's, you know, a humanoid versus these monsters.
Yeah.
I definitely felt like he was another superpowered human. I didn't think that he was going to be one. I thought he was just going to be some random guy, you know? And obviously I didn't know one was going to be that, whatever, the worker dude that worked at the children thing. I didn't think he was going to be one until we started getting later.
And that he wasn't, I didn't think he was going to be Creel's son.
Yeah, I didn't think that either. But what I'm wondering is, how did he get his powers then? Because wasn't the whole thing that it was like some MK Ultra stuff, and that's how the powers developed?
They explained it.
Where he got his powers.
So I think the way he got his was like, they didn't explain how he got them, but they were like, I think it was just like naturally he had some sort of defect or something, or maybe he was exposed to like a portal or something that like in the womb or whatever that gave him powers. But like the whole MK Ultra, like the doing drugs, the experimenting, those were all, that was 2 through like however many other kids there were, because they were trying to replicate one.
Yeah, no, I understood that. It seemed like, yeah, they were, because that's what they're saying. They were trying to like quote unquote clone him.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't control him.
Exactly.
But that's what I'm wondering. I'm like, I'm wondering where his powers came from. Like, I hope that's something they touch on. I feel like they will, or they should in the second half. But I'm wondering if he has, maybe the Mind Flayer, you know, was doing some.
I want to know why he was so like out of all of them. Why he picked 11?
Yeah, like
to be like fascinated with.
Well, and I guess it's just because she's the most powerful.
Maybe, but like now that, you know, she turned her back on him, and like, is he gonna try to kill her if she gets her powers back? You know,
I feel like he would. Like, he definitely would try to.
Yeah. On top of it, dude, part 2, like if they kill off Steve, I think they're going to.
I was so scared when he was getting eaten by those bats, bro. In episode 7, was it 7?
I did like that. You know, Nancy with absolutely no hesitation just dove in.
Yeah,
like just went right after him.
I mean, she saw shirt with Steve, bro,
with all the hair.
Yeah, I'm jumping in too.
Yeah,
I'm like me.
No, like I like Eddie. I liked Eddie as a character. I liked him with. I kind of liked his chemistry with Steve too. Like he just fit with that group pretty well.
Yeah,
thinking that Steve was gonna be, you know, like a dick. Like if he had met, if it was season 1 Steve with this Eddie, they would absolutely, without a doubt, hate each other.
Oh yeah.
But like again, this shows how Steve has grown.
Steve has come.
Yeah,
sure.
Every season. Like started hanging out with Dustin, and then started hanging out with Robin.
Yeah.
And now Eddie, like, yeah, he's grown a lot as a character, which I really like. Nancy, I like her chemistry more with Steve than I do with Jonathan. Like her and Jonathan just felt weird.
I just don't like Nancy's character that much. It doesn't feel like she's really grown that much.
True.
And I know in episode 7 it seems like she's the next target for Vecna, right? We saw at the end when he was with showing the Beth scene.
Yeah.
When, you know, Beth died season 1, like it seems like she's the, you know, next target since he couldn't get Max. So like hopefully they'll be able to do some character growth there. But it really, like, I feel like her character hasn't really grown too much since season 1.
Another thing about what you'd said about like he couldn't get Max and she ran out. Like, why did he just give up on her?
Yeah, I don't know, because he's like, oh, she has her headphone, she has the cassette tape, and she's ready for me. Damn it.
Gotta move on.
Yeah.
Gotta move to the next one.
It's like some Scooby-Doo villain. Like, darn, these meddling.
Craig, stop being weird.
Yeah, Craig, don't be a bozo anymore.
Hold up. I got some breaking news real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Johnny Depp won.
Yeah, I saw that. That was a couple hours ago.
Yeah, was it?
15 mil in compensation, I believe is what it said.
Yeah. So I want to know if it was unanimous.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Oh, it has to be, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yep. Yeah. He won both counts. It was unanimous on both counts.
It was defamation. What was the other one?
I think they might have been both defamation, but two separate instances.
Okay, I got you.
Or one might have been defamation, and one might have been like damages or
Dude,
something.
If she doesn't get let go of Aquaman now, I swear. Like, she's only in it for 10. They cut her time to 10 minutes. Like, just cut her out and recast her and just do 10 minutes worth of reshoots. Like, come on.
That's not worth. But yep. No, glad that he won.
Yeah. Sorry about that sidetrack. I had just seen it and I wanted to get it out there. Anyways, what am I looking at here? Oh yeah. I have written here Steve is the GOAT and Hopper's the second GOAT.
True.
I mean,
Hopper's a fucking beast.
Yeah, telling him to hit his foot.
Yeah. Oh my god.
He would literally do anything.
Yeah,
to try to get out.
Scenes, they were like pretty brutal. They were brutal.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess one thing too about that whole Russia, dude, the fight with the Demogorgon at the end was so sick.
True.
In episode 7, when he just I was so hype. He was just jumping and just knobbing off Russian dudes' heads.
Dude, I was talking to someone and they were like, yeah, they're training the Demogorgon for war. I'm like, no, it's literally in a prison. It's entertainment.
Pretty much, yo.
Like, they just want to watch prisoners get offed by it.
Yeah, Roman Colosseum style.
And like, I was totally thinking too, how they said that like Hopper said like it'll get bored and it won't eat because it's bored. Shoot, where's I going with this? It kind of makes me wonder about like other Demogorgons and like stuff like that. Like season 1, like is that why it was hunting all the time, or like going through those portals and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's weird. Like just hearing that one quote just kind of like opened things up a little bit.
Sure.
Oh, that's your notepad. I was like, what?
I just have like some notes written.
No, I got you. Yeah, seeing that Demogorgon was cool, and knowing that Hop use fire.
Yeah.
And he started a fight to
get the lighter.
Yeah,
that was cool.
Hopper's smart.
Mm-hmm.
I love him as a character. I think he's always been a really good character.
I agree. Yeah. He's another one of those core characters that I felt has always been solid. And he still like retains to what he is, like a kind of gritty war vet, from Vietnam, obviously has, the PTSD with that. But he's still like
watched his daughter die.
Yeah, and he's still just like, just a resilient dude. But he definitely had, in the first season, he's just bitter because of that. And he's kind of like, now he's come to terms with that, but it hasn't detracted from who he is, which is still a fucking badass,
Yeah.
He's still so cool.
One moment that I do absolutely love in season 2 and still gets to me is when he was in the car with 11 and mentions Sarah, and she asks who's Sarah, and he goes, "That's my girl." Like, just knowing the fact that he's still, I mean, obviously any father who loses their child is still going to retain that love for them, but like he hadn't moved on.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Yeah,
like he holds on to it.
No, yeah, great character.
Yeah,
and I mean, now he's free. I'm excited to see. I mean, obviously, I feel like they're going to play a bigger role in part 2. Him, Joyce, and Murray, because like they had their Russia arc, so I don't really know what impact they can have. Maybe they'll pull up to come kill Vecna or something.
Well, right now they're all stuck in Russia.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're all just in Russia, so and they don't really have a plane anymore.
They don't.
That thing kind of crashed.
So like,
yeah. But I'm excited. I do hope that they get more relevance, I guess. If you know what I mean, to like the actual what's going on. So I'm excited to see what happens with that.
Hopper always just pulls up last minute and is like, let me, like in season 2.
He just clutches up.
Yeah, he's like, I got you.
He's actually clutch god.
True.
You put him in 30 seconds remaining, he hits the game winner.
True.
Every time. Every time.
Like, forget Lucas getting the buzzer beater. Yeah, like,
it's Hopper. Every time.
Hopper's doing a full court on the buzzer beater.
True. Every time, too. He doesn't miss, does not miss. Ever. One thing that I really disliked about this season was the whole Nina project.
I did not care for that episode or anything.
Like, it was over the span of 3 episodes, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's episode 7. I liked it just because it developed 1, but I think episode 5 and 6 were their first showing it.
I didn't care for it either.
The episodes were so long. They were an hour and a half average.
I think it was hour 15.
Yeah, hour 15, hour 20 average.
Yeah.
And some of those Nina scenes were just 20-minute stretches.
I know.
Without jumping to other things. And it's just, it's just a very bland scenery. It was boring. It felt so much longer.
I would be lying if I said I didn't do the 10-second skip and just start skipping over sections of the Nina project.
No, yeah, during those scenes, that's when I was just I'm just going to browse on my phone a little bit. And I'm just kind of listening on the side.
Episode 7, I did like it a lot more. Yeah. I really liked that the end of it connected to the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
It explained.
Tanner was saying that, he thinks, it frames that 11 killed all those people.
Yeah.
And we see that she actually
didn't.
Yeah, didn't. And killed, or didn't kill, but sent the one who did it to the Upside Down.
Yeah. I want to know why the heck he started falling and lightning started hitting him and turned him into a tentacle monster.
Reasons.
The him being connected to the Upside Down kind of makes sense because
because
it's more than implied. He straight up is the strongest of all of them.
Mm-hmm. And the only one that has his powers naturally.
And so it makes sense that he can, if everything there is living and it's a hive mind, when you think about it, he was only ever controlling stuff when they were all stabbed into his back. So it's he's connected to them.
Yeah. So I definitely feel like he is almost like a human vessel of the Mind Flayer. And I feel like they will probably touch on that in part 2.
This makes me so mad. I hope to God this isn't the case, but first of all, Dustin is one of the few characters that has never been wrong. So when he was he's oh yeah, the Mind Flayer is the leader and this is his second in command or whatever.
His 5-star general.
His 5-star. I'm do not bring the Mind Flayer back into this.
Yeah.
No. If anything, Vecna should be stronger than the Mind Flayer because he's connected to the entirety of the Upside Down and can use his powers from the Upside Down to get to people and bring their heads and their souls into it.
Yeah.
So, Mind Flayer...
I definitely feel like that's what they're going to do.
Yeah.
It seems like that they're making it so that the Mind Flayer is still, the big one.
That he's opening portals for it or whatever.
Yeah, and that, one, or Victor Creel's son, was, the Mind Flayer's first connection to try to begin taking over the actual world.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of is the one who gave him his powers.
Yeah, no, God. Yeah, I totally see the Mind Flayer being a thing, because, he's killing these people and making portals.
Yeah.
So, obviously it's going to be, Demogorgons or those bats or the Mind Flayer all coming up.
Mm.
But, oh my God. I don't want to see any more of the Mind Flayer. It was a thing for 2 seasons, and they were the 2 weakest seasons.
Yeah.
So, I don't want to see it anymore. Yeah. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. That's the thing that annoyed me a lot. All the kids, all like the other numbers with the powers. I was like, what the heck?
They were just unbearable.
True.
So unbearable.
Yeah, they're beating up 11 because she's stronger than you. Like, what?
It's like, okay.
Why were the cameras off? Oh, I think one might have turned them off, actually.
No, he says that Dr. Brenner is the one who turned them off because he was trying to get them to try to kill 11 because he can't control 11.
I think that was a lie, though. I think one is saying it to manipulate 11, but he turned it off himself.
He's probably the one who did that so that he could fabricate that story.
Yeah, I mean, he is a straight up sociopath.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! So I was telling my girlfriend, we were talking about this episode, and she was like, "One do be kind of fine though," and I was like, "What is up with women and sociopaths?"
Dude, he's such a scrawny little like prick, though. I don't know.
They should have had MGK play him.
Yeah, true. Dude, ugh. Now he's so gross looking.
Like, oh, dude,
so gross.
Oh, another thing, like, I'm totally just things are popping all into my head because this is like, I think this is like 10 hours worth of show. It's because
definitely like 9 to 10.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff to go over. So like, apologies for people listening that have trouble keeping up, but like, there's just a lot of stuff to talk about, and like, some of it is definitely more memorable than other parts of it. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I totally just forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, where was I going with that? Oh my gosh, we were talking about. Oh yeah. Victor Creel's flashbacks, the rocking the baby's cradle.
Oh yeah, the World
with the
War II
fire
flashback.
Yeah, I was like, oh my god, dude, the
that
baby wailing while.
Yeah, in the fireplace.
Understandable why he would have trauma.
Yes, for sure.
And that one only goes for people with trauma. Like, so I mean, that's really his first example. Like, first example is his dad having a ton of trauma. Yeah, Max. I can't remember what Fred's was a car crash, right?
Is that the one that was with Nancy?
Nerdy glasses. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like a car crash.
Yeah,
that I think was like his fault, I guess.
Or he thinks it's his fault, at least.
Yes.
One of his friends died, I think.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. Poor Fred.
Yeah, and then Chris, he had, abusive mother.
Yeah. Max, her brother died.
Yeah, the other basketball kid.
What's Nancy's?
Beth.
Beth. Barbara.
Or Barbara, sorry.
Barbara.
Yeah, Barbara.
Yeah. But even when you think about it, like, why? Like,
yeah.
I know she thinks that they killed her, but like, it doesn't connect as well as the other ones do. Because like, she didn't see it happen or anything. Like, Max straight up full on witnessed her brother die.
Yeah.
So, like, they all make sense. Nancy, like, it kind of does, but doesn't connect as well.
But it's like, it's like with Nancy too. It's like that Barbara quote unquote trauma would be the equivalent of the trauma she just went through that Fred left and then died.
I actually hated her so much when he was having like those flashbacks or whatever. And she was like, what was that? I said act casual.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, you can't tell that he's visibly distraught. Like, something is very much wrong.
No, she was like so oblivious.
Yeah.
In, like, those scenes.
I feel like that's her character. She's always oblivious and then just snaps and knows.
She's like, oh, shoot, now I get it.
Yeah. I magically get it.
Yeah. At least. That's why I said, like, I just don't like her character at all. I don't think it's that good. What's up?
She do be kind of fine though.
Yeah. You're crazy.
Nah, dude. One do be kind of fine though. Actually, just the finest.
Dustin be kind of fine.
Hopper do be kind of fine though.
Hopper as fuck.
Billy do be kind of fine.
Billy more than fine.
True.
Billy can do horrendous things to me. Actually horrendous.
Anyway, is there anything else that you want to talk about with this episode?
No, I guess. Yeah, just give like a final little recap. I thought season 4, part 1, is probably my second favorite of everything. I still like season 1 better, but season 4, if it continues in this vein, and definitely like it seems like there's a lot more meat going to be happening in part 2, less filler. And as all the characters start to come back together, we're going to have the California group rejoin. It seems like the Russia group rejoin. I definitely think it could size up to be the best season yet. As long as they don't fumble the bag and bring like the Mind Flayer and kind of ruin the villain, which I can definitely see them doing.
Yeah, definitely.
So, but yeah, part 1 I thought was very solid. I really liked the villain. Probably my favorite yet. I would think it's better than just kind of a nameless monster. It's like now we actually have a face and kind of a story there, which is nice
without it being tornado that control thing.
Yeah. Pretty much every character in Hawkins area I really liked, other than Nancy. Like she's the only one I really liked. Lucas, Dustin, Max, Steve. Robin was decent. Eddie was pretty good. Like, I just really liked that group. I liked the, multiple arcs they all went through and kind of things. So yeah, I thought it was a good season. If you haven't seen it, which I hope you have, if you're
listening this far in.
But yeah, like it's definitely something I'd recommend. It's really good.
Yeah, definitely. Another thing that popped into my head that like makes sense is if you watch the trailers. You see there's a clip where Eddie's playing the guitar in the Upside Down.
For part 2 or part 1?
It's going to be for part 2, but because
it was the trailers for part 1 though?
Yeah, it was in the trailers for the season, which makes sense because if music is the escape or whatever, he is playing guitar in the Upside Down.
Ooh.
So
okay, that'd be cool.
So I do like that. I think part 2 has huge capabilities. It could be a huge, like great finish if they don't fumble a bag, which
for sure,
based off of like these last few seasons or like it's not seasons, sorry, episodes, I think they're gonna be fine. They announced a season 5. I do not think there needs to be a season 5.
They did?
Yeah.
I thought this was going to be the last one.
This one deserves to be the last one.
That's what it seemed like they're setting up for, though.
I know.
It seemed like this. They took a big break to do a 2-part like final season.
Check this out. Season 5, they're going to be, guess what? Mind Flayer back, baby.
No.
Mind Flayer back.
That's kind of disappointing.
I know. It kind of diminishes this season because
because now it's just going to end on another cliffhanger, I guess.
Yeah.
Which it's like I am ready for the show to.
Season 5 is the final season, but it's like why?
But then season 5 to me, I mean, depending on how they finish season 4, it's just going to feel like season 4 part 3. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like because they're just going to leave it on another cliffhanger.
True. Yeah. Especially like if they kill off Vecna and make it a different villain for the ending. It's like no, dude. Number 1, he needs to be the big bad. I think if anything, Mind Flayer should have worked for him because like he's the best villain. Great backstory, great character.
I'd be interested if like maybe somehow. Like he created the Upside Down or something, right? Or even something like
an alternate, made it an alternate reality.
Yeah, just something like that, rather than that the Upside Down existed and that he just is connected to it.
What I would have really liked is that if he was the leader and Mind Flayer was his 5-star general, because what if he made Mind Flayer and he made it a monster meant to corrupt people, and then he controlled them. So like instead of it being a random creature looking through like Will's eyes, for example, it was him, or it was him controlling Billy.
Yeah,
like that just would make things better. But
that would make more sense too.
It's not the route they're going for. It would make sense because of his powers. But yeah, great villain. Steve's the GOAT. Hopper's the second GOAT. I typically felt like for seasons 1 through 3, like the kids were the weaker parts of the show. This season, I do not feel that way.
For the Hawkins group of kids, I definitely thought they were kind of a strong part of the show. Really,
Hawkins group, great. Steve's fear of like falling out with Dustin and Dustin having a new big brother role model and him not liking it, great. Hopper's struggles in Russia, great. I don't care for the California group or Eleven's Nina project.
Yeah.
CGI was pretty rough. That green screen of for Dear Billy, not great. But the costuming, like the practical effects, and
the practical effects were really good.
Yeah, they were phenomenal.
Even with like the Russia, like a lot of that costuming and practical effects were really good.
Agreed. Like the explosion in the shed,
those were good.
The Demogorgon looked good. But overall, I'd give this season a 77, which is 5% higher than the first season.
Okay.
I think it's better, but not by much. Best way I can put it is if they stay on this trajectory, it's going to stay in the good category. If it's a really good finish, it's going to go into phenomenal. Yep. If they fumble the bag, it's going below Stranger Things season 1.
Yeah.
Like these last, I think it's like 4 episodes are really going to like make it or break it. Mm-hmm. So,
and it comes out what, July 1st?
July 1st.
Okay. So a month.
Yeah. We got a month on the dot, I think.
Yeah. Today is the 1st. But sorry, one last thing. This is the last, and then my final, review thing. What did you think about the Upside Down being like 3 years in the past? You know how like they went to Nancy's house?
Yeah, and it was the diary and stuff.
Yeah, and it was like, all right, I don't know the exact time. I think it was like 2 or 3 years in the past. But then it like,
I was so confused, dude.
But I'm saying like it didn't seem like that. Did like anything happen to that? But it's like I wonder. They have to do something with it, surely.
But it wasn't.
Like, I don't know what.
But thinking about it, that really kind of just
sense to me.
Doesn't make any sense.
Because then it's like if they're coming out of the portals, how is it like?
How are they communicating with people?
Yeah, exactly. Like, and
how is
Will in the present?
Yeah, how is Will communicating with Joyce in season 1?
Yeah, exactly. Like, it doesn't make sense if it's in the past.
Yeah.
Or, like they're literally like in episode 7 when they open up the gate and you have the one,
That was such a cool shot, though.
It was a cool shot, but
it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense in the whole
thing. Exactly. Because like if you go 3 years in the past, that portal does not exist 3 years in the past.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, I think I've talked about it before. I'm just not a big fan of time things.
Time travel?
Yeah, I think it's just kind of bad and doesn't really work well in pretty much any media just because it adds a bunch of like plot holes.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't know. I mean, hopefully they do something cool or like some weird explanation.
Upside down. That was the one thing about it that like, yeah.
But yeah, it just seemed like just really random.
Yeah. I agree. It kind of just came out of nowhere. I think it was just an excuse for her to not have guns.
Yeah, and I really hope it isn't. Like, I really hope they do something with it, because if that's all it is, it's like that just adds so many plot holes just to not have some guns, which they didn't even need or anything because they just left.
Yeah, exactly. And like, and that also diminishes like the Upside Down to me more because like it was so cool before, like having like even just the shots like them riding their bikes and the bat sitting and seeing them, and then it just clips to Vecna turning around because he's connected to everything.
Yeah.
So it's like so it's like if you diminish like everything just because, oh no, my gun's not here because we are in the past.
Yeah, it's definitely kind of silly.
Yeah,
to kind of just diminish the upside.
Yeah, it could have been like, oh, I was forced to get rid of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like really, just that simple. But yeah, that was a weird thing. I didn't get it.
So yeah, I mean, I guess we'll see if anything comes of it. But yeah, I would say just out of a traditional 10 scale, I'd give season 4 part 1 like a 6.5 or 7 out of 10. I thought pretty much what's dragging it down the most was the California groups like acting and stuff and characters. I didn't care for that. And I felt like there was just a lot of, I don't know if I would call it filler, but just overly drawn out things, especially like the Nina project.
Yeah.
And with certain like just talking scenes felt like they were a lot longer than they needed to be.
Yeah, it certainly
kind of like dragged it down.
It certainly wasn't filler because it was detrimental, or it was not detrimental. It was required for the plot. Yeah, right? It just dragged.
Like it's not necessarily filler, but it was like they spent way too much time trying to show these things, which could have easily been shortened by a lot.
I agree. I completely agree.
Closing out, do you want to tell us what we have for episode 9 next week?
Episode 9, we have
what to look forward to.
That is episode 10. Hold on.
I think it was video.
Yeah, video games, best video games all time.
I think so,
yeah. List I'm pretty looking forward to. It'll probably be a shorter one because I think we're just doing like each of us giving 5 games.
Yeah, probably,
Yeah, so it'll probably be a shorter one, more just enjoyable. Just kind of sit back, relax.
And then we had, what was after that?
After that, we have NFL seed predictions and the NBA conference finals, and then finals if they're done by then.
Finished. It'll be close.
I'm looking forward to it. Dude. I called it.
True.
I called it.
You did. But yeah, thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll definitely talk about part 2.
Once it comes out,
after
July.
another month and a half or so.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, we'll definitely be back and see how things turn out for Stranger Things season 4. Thank you for listening.
You guys are the goats.